What if the smartest financial move you ever planned was actually a trap? Right now, millions of Americans are loading moving trucks, selling their homes, and relocating to states with no income tax. Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Nevada. The promise is simple. Keep more of your money. Live free. Get ahead. But the hidden costs buried inside these states are quietly draining bank accounts, wrecking retirement plans, and leaving families worse off than when they started. And the people selling you this dream are counting on you never doing the full math. I did the math. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll have a 5-question checklist that could save you tens of thousands of dollars. And you'll understand exactly who this system was built for. Spoiler, it probably isn't you. Let's start with why this idea is so irresistible. 9 states charge zero state income tax. Florida, Texas, Nevada, Tennessee, Wyoming, Washington, South Dakota, New Hampshire, Alaska. Whatever you earn, you keep all of it. If you're living in California or Illinois where state income tax hits 9 to 13%, that sounds like oxygen after years of suffocation. And the stories are everywhere online. I moved from California to Texas and saved $18,000 my first year. That clip has been shared millions of times. Here's the problem with that story. Texas has a property tax rate averaging 1.6%, one of the highest in the nation. California's is 0.71%. According to the Tax Foundation's 2023 data, a Texas homeowner with a $400,000 property is paying roughly $3,600 more per year in property taxes than a comparable California homeowner. That's already half the so-called savings gone, before we even touch insurance, utilities, or sales tax. So where's the rest of that $18,000 actually going? Let's follow the money. I want you to meet Robert. Robert is 58 years old. Mechanical engineer, 30 years in Illinois, grinding through brutal winters and what he called legalized robbery by the state tax system. When he ran his retirement numbers, moving to Tennessee looked like the single best financial decision he could make. He'd save $14,000 a year in state income tax alone. He made the move, bought a beautiful home outside Nashville, felt, for the first time in years, like he was finally winning. Then the bills started arriving. His property taxes jumped 34% over 3 years as Nashville's boom drove up assessed values. His homeowner's insurance climbed 67%. His county carried flood risk his realtor mentioned once, briefly, then quickly changed the subject. His car insurance went up 40%. Tennessee has one of the highest rates of uninsured drivers in the country, and that cost gets past everyone else. He sat down one Sunday morning with a spreadsheet and laid it all out. Income tax saved, $14,000. New additional costs, $19,200. Net result, he was losing $5,200 a year. He told his neighbor, and I'm using his exact words here, "It's the most expensive free lunch I ever ate." This isn't an isolated case. The Lincoln Institute of Land Policy found in 2022 that property taxes across Sunbelt states rose an average of 31.4% between 2019 and 2022, driven almost entirely by population growth pushing home values, and tax bills through the roof. Robert's story isn't even the worst one. Wait until you hear what happened to Maria. But first, let's talk about the hidden tax matrix, because this is where the whole illusion starts to crack wide open. Every state has to fund its roads, emergency services, courts, and infrastructure. If it doesn't collect income tax, it collects the money somewhere else. The methods it uses are often far more damaging to middle-income families than a straightforward income tax would ever be. Tennessee has zero income tax. It also has the highest combined sales tax in the United States at 9.55%. Every grocery run, every appliance, every car purchase, nearly a 10% levy on your entire spending life. Texas has no income tax and ranks 6th highest nationally for property taxes, rates that keep accelerating as migration pushes home values higher every year. Florida has no income tax and generated $4.3 billion in toll road revenue in 2022 alone. Drive anywhere in Florida and you are constantly, quietly paying. Then there's energy. Texas deregulated its power grid. It was supposed to create competition and lower prices. After the 2021 winter storm that left 246 people dead and millions without power, average electric bills in some Texas markets spiked 70%. Some households received a single monthly bill for $17,000. That's not an exaggeration. It was investigated by the Texas legislature and reported by ERCOT. And Florida's homeowners insurance now averages $10,996 per year according to the Insurance Information Institute's 2024 data. That is 3 times the national average. 3 times. Imagine moving into your dream home in Miami. Boxes unpacked. Warm breeze coming through the window. Then you open that first insurance bill and feel your stomach drop straight to the floor. Before you make any relocation decision, here's your first practical action. Use the Tax Foundation State Tax Climate Index alongside a full cost of living calculation, not just the income tax line. The whole picture. Because hidden taxes are just layer 1. Layer 2 is what destroyed Maria's retirement. Maria packed her entire life into a moving truck in Chicago. She was 61 years old, retired school administrator, 33 years in the classroom, careful saver, ready for her best chapter. Fort Lauderdale, the beach, the warmth, and no Florida state income tax, which would save her roughly $8,000 a year on her pension withdrawals. She arrived in October 2020 and loved every minute of it. 18 months later, her insurance company sent her a letter. They were leaving Florida entirely. She wasn't alone. Between 2021 and 2023, 7 major property insurers completely exited the Florida market. Hurricane risk, litigation costs, and rising reinsurance prices had made the state, in one actuary's words, functionally uninsurable at sustainable rates. Maria was moved onto Citizens Insurance, Florida's insurer of last resort, created by the state government for exactly this crisis. Her new premium was double her previous rate. She told me she lies awake during hurricane season now, not sleeping, watching weather apps on her phone at 3 in the morning, terrified that one bad storm could erase the 35 years of work she built her retirement on. She's now trying to move back north. But 2 sets of transaction costs, realtor fees, closing costs, moving trucks, combined with rising home prices in her Chicago neighborhood mean she is financially worse off than if she had never moved at all. The Florida Office of Insurance Regulation confirmed that 15 property insurance companies became insolvent in Florida between 2020 and 2023. 15 companies in 3 years. And what's happening in Florida is not an isolated crisis. It is a preview of what's coming to every low-tax Sunbelt state as climate risk repricing meets population boom. The data on this trajectory is alarming. Now let's talk about something the relocation industry never puts in its marketing materials. The American Society of Civil Engineers gave Texas a C- on infrastructure in 2023. Florida got a C. These are the 2 states absorbing the largest population influxes in the country. More people, same crumbling roads, same strained water systems, same underfunded public services. Texas ranks 43rd in public education funding per pupil according to the National Education Association's 2023 report. If you move to Texas with children, you are landing in one of the worst funded school systems in the country. Many families discover this after unpacking. Then they price private school tuition, which runs $8,000 to $25,000 per child per year in Texas, and the income tax savings are completely gone. Tennessee ranks 46 in healthcare access according to the Commonwealth Fund's 2023 study. Nevada ranks 49th in overall healthcare outcomes according to U.S. News and World Report's 2023 state rankings. Here's the question you need to sit with. You saved $12,000 in income tax. You spent $8,000 on private school tuition because the public system is underfunded. Are you actually winning? Before you move, research your destination state-specific rankings in education, healthcare, and infrastructure for your family's profile. These numbers are publicly available, and they will fundamentally change your calculation. But here's where this gets truly personal. There's a specific group being actively targeted by low-tax state marketing right now, and they are the ones who can least afford to get this wrong. If you are between 55 and 70 years old and someone is telling you to move to a low-tax state for retirement, hear this. Retirees are the perfect marketing target for this pitch. Fixed income. Sensitive to income tax on pension and 401k withdrawals. The math looks clean and simple. Save on taxes. Stretch your retirement dollars. It makes complete sense on paper. Except retirees use healthcare heavily, and states with low taxes have systematically worse healthcare infrastructure than states with higher taxes and stronger public investment. A 2022 study published in Health Affairs found that retirees in low-tax Sunbelt states spent 23% more out-of-pocket on healthcare annually than comparable retirees in higher-tax states with stronger public health systems. 23% more. Every single year. Picture this. You're 68. You just moved to Henderson, Nevada. You need a cardiologist. The nearest specialist accepting new patients has a 4-month waiting list. That's pulled from actual patient reviews on health grades for that area. Not a hypothetical. Meet Frank. Frank is 66. He moved from New Jersey to Tennessee and saved $9,000 per year in state income tax on his retirement income. He felt great about it. 6 months later, he needed cardiac care. Tennessee ranks 42nd in cardiac care outcomes according to the American Heart Association's 2023 report. His out-of-pocket healthcare costs in year 1, $11,400. He finished the year $2,400 behind where he started, not counting the months of stress navigating a healthcare system that, in his words, felt like it was built for someone else. So who actually benefits from moving to a low-tax state? The answer reveals exactly who the system was designed to serve. Low-tax states aren't a trap for everyone. They are genuinely effective for one specific type of person. High-income remote workers earning $500,000 or more per year. People with no children in public school or who can comfortably afford private tuition. People with comprehensive private health care. Real estate investors who can ride the property value wave. For that profile, no-income tax states are a powerful financial tool. But here's what the data shows for everyone else. The Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy's 2023 study found that the bottom 20% of owners in no-income tax states pay an effective total tax rate 50% higher than the top 1%. The poorest residents of these supposedly low-tax states are paying proportionally more than the wealthiest. The no-income tax model shifts the burden downward onto sales taxes, property taxes, and fees that hit working and middle-income families hardest. If your household income is under $150,000, run a complete total tax burden comparison using ITEP's Who Pays report before making any relocation decision. It's free, it's online, and it will show you the number the relocation industry doesn't want you to see. Now, the one calculation that real estate agents, moving companies, and state tourism boards are hoping you never actually sit down and do. Here is the number that changes everything. A family moves from Illinois to Texas. Household income, $120,000. Home value, $400,000. State income tax saved, $6,000 per year. Now the other side. Higher property taxes compared to Illinois, $4,200 more. Higher car insurance, $2,400 more. Higher homeowners insurance, $3,100 more. Higher sales tax on typical household spending, $1,800 more. Higher utility costs under Texas's deregulated energy grid, $2,000 more. Total new additional costs, $13,500. Income tax saved, $6,000. This family is spending $7,500 more per year in Texas than they were in Illinois. These figures come from the Tax Foundation's 2024 data, the Insurance Information Institute, and the U.S. Energy Information Administration. This is not a worst-case scenario. This is a representative middle-class family making the exact move that millions of Americans are making right now, and quietly losing money they don't realize they are losing. That is not a tax cut. That is a tax illusion, dressed in sunshine and sold with a smile. So what should you actually do? Here is the 5-question checklist before any relocation decision. 1. What is my total tax burden, not just income tax? Use the ITEP Who Pays report and the Tax Foundation's full state comparison tool. 2. What have property tax rates done in my specific target county over the past 5 years? Not the state average. The county. The variation is enormous. 3. Which major insurance companies are currently operating in that state, and which ones have recently left or announced they are leaving? If insurers are exiting, that tells you everything about where costs are heading. 4. How does this state rank in healthcare access and outcomes for my specific age group? For anyone over 55, this question alone can override every other number in the calculation. 5. If you have children, what are the public school rankings for your specific district? And what does private school cost locally if the public option is inadequate? This checklist takes about 4 hours to work through properly. 4 hours to potentially save yourself $50,000 or more over a decade of life in the wrong state. So here's a question I want you to sit with tonight. If you ran all these numbers, the complete picture, not just the income tax line, and found out your dream move to a low-tax state would actually cost you more money every single year, would you still go? For the lifestyle? For the sunshine? For something you genuinely can't put a number on? Or would the math change your mind completely? Thousands of people have already made this move, and their answers are completely divided. Some say it was worth every hidden dollar. Some say they wish they had seen this video first. Drop your answer in the comments. And if you know someone right now who is planning this move, share this with them. That might be the most valuable thing you do for them this year.